Winter mornings used to begin with work before warmth. For generations, surviving the cold season depended on deliberate routines carried out every single morning, not as tradition, but as necessity. These actions controlled heat, moisture, light, food safety, and even illness inside the home. Modern houses quietly erased these habits by automating them, but the knowledge behind them still matters. What follows is a clear record of what older households did every winter morning and how those practices can still be applied today by anyone serious about resilience, energy independence, or historical accuracy. They managed indoor heat before doing anything else. The first task of the morning was restoring heat lost overnight. Wood, coal, peat, or charcoal fires were banked at night and revived at dawn. Ashes were cleared carefully to allow airflow, embers were exposed, and fresh fuel was added in stages to prevent thermal shock to stoves and chimneys. This was not casual fire lighting, it was controlled combustion. Too fast and flues cracked, too slow and rooms stayed damp. Today, this knowledge applies directly to wood stoves, masonry heaters, and off-grid heating. Anyone using supplemental heat can benefit from learning how gradual heat buildup protects materials, reduces fuel use, and maintains consistent indoor temperatures. They controlled moisture before it became a problem. Condensation was a real winter enemy. So, every morning, windows were wiped down, shutters adjusted, and vents briefly opened, even in freezing weather. This short airing expelled overnight moisture from breath, cooking, and washing. Without it, walls sweated, mold formed, and wood rotted. Modern homes rely on sealed insulation and mechanical ventilation, but the principle remains unchanged. Brief, intentional ventilation is more effective than just leaving windows cracked all day. Applying this today means opening opposing windows for 5 minutes in the morning to exchange air without losing structural heat, especially in older or tightly sealed homes. They reset the house's thermal defenses daily. Curtains, rugs, door snakes, and wall hangings were adjusted every morning. Heavy fabrics that blocked drafts at night were repositioned to allow light and controlled warmth during the day. Floors were covered where cold rose, especially over cellars or crawl spaces. Exterior doors were checked for frost buildup and ice gaps. This daily inspection prevented heat loss long before insulation standards existed. Today, this translates into consciously managing thermal barriers rather than assuming insulation alone is sufficient. Even in modern homes, draft control at doors, windows, and floors can reduce heating demand and increase comfort without additional energy input. They prepared water systems to prevent freezing. Winter mornings included checking water buckets, pumps, and pipes. Exposed lines were inspected for ice. Wells were tested for flow, and containers were rotated so nothing froze solid. In some regions, water was drawn the night before and stored indoors to avoid morning freeze-ups. This routine prevented cracked pipes and lost access to water. Modern plumbing hides this vulnerability, but power outages quickly bring it back. Applying this knowledge today means knowing where shutoff valves are, insulating exposed pipes, and storing emergency water indoors during extreme cold. Every morning they adjusted food storage conditions. Cold storage areas like pantries, cellars, and larders were checked daily, Even small temperature shifts could spoil preserved food or, burst containers. Fermented goods were inspected, root vegetables were turned, and ice boxes were drained of meltwater. This daily attention, honestly, extended the life of stored food all through the winter. Modern refrigeration has kind of removed this habit, but anyone interested in food security can relearn it. Checking stored food every day, even in freezers or fridges, helps prevent unnoticed failures and really teaches you to be aware of temperature stability during winter conditions. They dressed the house before dressing themselves. Before personal comfort came household readiness, plain and simple. Fire screens were positioned, work areas warmed first, and bedrooms left cold to conserve fuel. Heat followed activity, not the other way around. This zoning approach, you see, minimized energy waste and shaped how folks moved through the house each day. Modern central heating, well, it kind of flattened this old discipline, but the concept is still mighty powerful. Heating only the rooms you use, setting up programmable zones, or even just scheduling your activities around the warmer spaces. These things all mirror that historical efficiency. And you know, they help reduce our dependence on running full house heat all the time. Folks used to sync up their daily labor with the daylight and whatever heat was available. Winter mornings really set the rhythm for the whole day. Tasks that needed warmth or good light, those waited until after the fire was going strong and the shutters were set just right. Food prep, well, that got started once the heat settled in. And washing? That was delayed so you didn't end up with too much dampness in the house. This way of lining up your work with the environment, it actually helped cut down on illness and eased up the strain on resources. These days, applying that same idea means planning your energy-heavy chores for the warmest part of the day, especially if you're living off-grid or just trying to be more energy-conscious. It also means, respecting what the seasons allow instead of trying to force summer routines into the middle of winter. They inspected the home for silent damage. Every morning included a quick assessment of frost intrusion, chimney draw, roof ice, and door seals. Small problems were fixed immediately because, well, winter punished neglect fast. This habit prevented catastrophic failures later in the season. Modern homeowners can adopt the same practice by conducting short daily checks during the cold months. Catching a leak, draft, or ice buildup early saves repairs and maintains safety. They treated winter mornings as preparation, not inconvenience. These routines were not nostalgic rituals. They were survival systems refined over centuries. Modern homes replace them with switches, thermostats, and sealed walls. But when systems fail, the old knowledge becomes relevant again. Applying these practices today builds resilience, lowers energy use, and reconnects daily life with seasonal reality. If you value this kind of practical historical knowledge and want more content that treats the past as a working manual rather than a museum piece, subscribe to Living Through the Seasons and share this guide with others who care about how people truly lived and endured.